Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good as I can be as the pandemic could be summer, you know.
True that.
So I'm just Soumya Bosnith, and on behalf of tutors, you may know that, you know. So tutors, it is an educational
Yeah.
institute that provides quality tutoring services to students in Nepal. So it primarily aims to help students tackle their academic problem, misunderstanding, and unseen voidness in learning content by providing them with the best possible learning environment. So we are conducting this series of interviewing with different students, different personalities to help students better understand what path they are going to choose in the future or what path they are in right now. So let's start with your introduction. Just tell me your name, how are you, where are you from?
Hi, I'm Diprekshya Maharjan from Nepal. I recently graduated from UWC Adriatic in Italy, and I am currently in Nepal.
So you are from UWC. For UWC, where did you do your secondary education?
I studied in Budangkanda School till the 10th grade and half of my A1. And after that, I started applying, sorry, to UWC, and I got accepted, and I went there in August of 2019.
Half your A levels had been completed. What inspired you to leave your A levels in Nepal and apply to UWC abroad?
No, the thing about I think for me, I wanted to go to UWC since the ninth grade. So I pretty much knew I wanted to go to UWC, but like we needed our SE certificates for to be able to apply to UWC. So because I was not sure if I would get in or not, so I was also doing my A levels in Burankanta and also doing the process to go to UWC. So that's why I had to leave my A levels in between, and yeah.
So what was it hard for you to like? I guess was there between the UWC and your A levels and your SE. So was it hard for you to apply there, and was it much difficult for you to adjust with your studies abroad?
I would say that because I'm not a really outgoing person, I would say, even though some people might say that I'm the opposite, but people who are close to me know that I'm not a very social person and I really get anxious in huge crowds. But the thing about UWC is because I knew I wanted to go there, so I obviously had to get a bit outside of my comfort zone to be able to study there. And about the applying process and everything in between, I don't think it was really hard. Like I had to write some essays, but it was no big deal. And I had to go through interviews and different activities in the selection process. And after I went there, I did have a difficult time for like about a month or two because it was a completely new environment and I was really far from home and there was no turning back. Like when I was studying in Burankanta, I would be like, I miss my parents, then they would have come to see me. But being in Italy was different because even though I missed them, the only thing I could do was call them. So I feel like adjusting to the new environment was a bit difficult, and also because some of the cultures are different from Nepalese culture, so it was a bit difficult for the first few months.
So it was difficult, right? But your dream was good to go to the UWC from class 9. Or till your expectations
Yeah.
were met. I guess you had a lot of expectations to see, apart from like there is a huge gap between the abroad studies and Nepalese studies, right? So were your expectations fulfilled in various ways?
I would say yes and no. Like because Nepalese system is very much focused on book learning. I think it's very much focused on book learning. You study the book, you give the exams. But being in UWC allowed me to do research works on my own and to um, present my own research paper and assignments. And there was also a lot of study outside of the actual course with the creative, social, and physical activities. So we had to balance all of those. So, like, it was quite different from Nepalese studies, I would say.
So do you think the studies abroad, like what you studied in UWC, is better than what we get in Nepal here?
I would not. I don't know how to answer this question because like I cannot exactly compare the two, but I would not say one is better and the other is a bit not. But I would just like to say that studying in UWC did allow me to gain more perspectives on different issues of the world. Because in Nepal, we don't really talk about, I mean, it has recently started. We also have recently been started talking about the LGBTQ rights, the environment, sustainability, and stuff. But in UWC, those things, we talk about those things a lot more often than in Nepal. So in some cases, it is better, and in some, I would say it's not.
What was your combination here in A?
EBA, economics
EB?
business accounts.
Okay, so economics, business account, and in
Yeah.
IB?
I did economics, math, environment science, Italian, English, philosophy, and Nepali.
So, do you think
Yeah.
the subject combination is broader than that of A levels, and of course, it is broader than that of plus two NEB, where what we get in Nepal, right? So, do you think IB's combination is more broader and more, like people a lot of choices for what they can study than in A levels?
I cannot speak for myself about A levels because I actually did only 6 months of A levels, so I'm not pretty sure about it. But as far as I know, even in A levels in Nepal, we can choose from different combinations like I did. And also in IB, there is a broader choice for us because, okay, I don't know about other colleges, but because I studied in Burankandu, we have either economics, business accounts, economics, business computer, physics, chemistry, bio, or things like that. But in UWC, you are free to choose economics, you can choose biology, chemistry, philosophy all at the same time. There is not like a fixed set of combination. So you're free to choose whatever you want. You're a bit more freer to choose whatever you want.
Okay, so you told that you're not such an outgoing person. Like, how did you cope up with the interview process applying with the UWC?
Um, Personally, for me, I find interviews quite relaxing than having to do like a group discussion or giving a speech in front of even 7 or 8 people. Because it was a one-on-one interview, I did not have a lot of difficulty doing that.
That may be a lot relaxing for our viewers too. Like, interview might be very much difficult for many people to get through. It is difficult for me to get through sometimes. So I think that is a very good aspect.
No, I feel like I do get nervous in interviews, but when I think about it, I don't think there's anything to be nervous about it. Like, sure, you feel the pressure and stuff, but I feel like you should be a bit more relaxed when doing interviews.
Okay, so was it difficult for you to make friends, and was it difficult for you to work in UWC while you moved from here to Italy?
I would say no. The thing is, after I left Nepal, I did get homesick a lot for the first month. But then slowly I got busy with my schoolwork, and then there was a lot of activities going on there to keep you distracted from missing home. And through that, I think I made a really good friend circle. Like I had a really close friend circle. Like it was me and there was 5 or 6 other, but that was it. So I feel like even though they were my close friends, I did interact with other people. They helped me interact with other people because it was only me that was not very social, but my friends were. So I feel like they helped me like make a connection. Like they acted as a bridge for me to be able to connect with other people.
So tell us a brief about your UWC experience as a whole, like making friends, studies, teachers. Like, what is your experience as a whole?
UWC was a really wonderful and life-changing experience for me because I think I've become a bit more comfortable in expressing my opinions and my thoughts than before. I also feel like I've become more confident in speaking my mind, like not being very nervous about having to give a speech or presentations and stuff like that. As for the academic part of UWC, I will say it's a bit rigorous than what we do in Nepal because we have to do our own research, present our own assignments, and do basically everything on our own. Obviously, we get help from the teachers, but there's like just like a limited amount of time they can help us. For example, if you submit an assignment to the teacher, you can get feedback. You submit it again, you get a feedback, and then you submit it for the final time. I think for the academics, it depends. It all depends on you and how hard you are willing to work. Apart from that, for my social life, I would say I had a pretty decent social life. um, going out with friends to different cities, visiting places, museums, and you get to take class trips with all of your every student, like everybody in your class. You get to go to Rome, you get to go to Venice, you get to go to a lot of different places. So it was really fun. But that was all before COVID happened, obviously. I feel like my experience was a lot um, more affected by the COVID situation because I had to come back in the first year midway through my course. So I did half of my learning through online. And it was quite difficult for me to cope with online classes because staying in front of the screen for like over 8 hours, 9 hours with the time difference is not really an easy thing to do. So I feel like that hampered my experience a bit for the academic portion. But apart from that, I think Adriatic did a pretty good job bringing back the students for the second year, for my second year. And even though there was a lot of rules and regulations to be followed, I feel like during the pandemic, I had a pretty good experience after I went back because even though we could not visit many cities, our school conducted more activities for us not to get bored, I think. Yeah.
So you had a great experience in UWC.
Yeah.
So moving on. So what do you think is the difference between the online education system, what you went through half of your year, and the physical education system?
Personally, for me, I prefer physical education better because I am a bit of a slow learner, and sometimes it might be hard for me to grasp the knowledge through just online learning. I would say that being present physically in class is obviously way different than online classes because maybe the internet lags sometimes, or you just don't have internet at all, and many things like that. Okay.
Oh, how did you cope up with the stress that you a lot of teenagers, me myself, I went through anxiety a lot of times during the online session. So how did you cope up with the stress that you went through during your online classes? The transition from Nepal to Italy, then Italy to Nepal, it must be very much harsh on you, right?
I had a really hard time coping with the sudden change in education. Like, I literally cried my eye out and I told my mom, I cannot do this anymore because it was so hard for me to just stay in front of the computer and just study. And then after you're done, do research on your computer again. So I was basically staring at my screen for over 12 hours a day. And I would say I have a really bad headache and I'm not going to school anymore. But I feel like slowly, gradually, as time passed by, I feel like I grew more comfortable into online classes, I would say. Not entirely though. But I would say I did have like, I got used to it. I don't think I adjusted to it pretty well, but as time passed by, I just got adjusted to it. I got used to it.
So for the people like they're planning to apply UWC IB abroad. So what do you give? Like, what are the suggestions and the three tips I can give to the high schoolers who are thinking about applying to UWC?
If you're planning to go to UWC, good job. I feel like personally for me, UWC has been a really wonderful experience, as I mentioned earlier. So I feel like you'll get to learn a lot more about the education system outside of Nepal. And not only that, I think like you will also be able to learn more about yourself and what you want. For example, for me, I don't know, like as I told you, I changed a lot in many different ways. And the most I'm proud of is me being able to speak my mind very openly and not being as anxious as I used to be before. So I feel like the one advice I would give to you is start, if you are planning to go to UWC, I would say do your applications early and don't leave it to the last minute at all because it's going to be a rush. And I would say talk to your parents about it first. Talk to your parents about it first because I did not. Like, even though I wanted to go to UWC since the ninth grade, I never once mentioned to my parents I wanted to go to UWC. So it did come as a bit of a shock to my parents when I say I want to go to study to UWC and I've been selected for the first round of interview when I reached home. So talk to your parents first and then start applying.
So what do you think is in regards to the cost of the UWC? Do you think it is very difficult for the students because the Nepalism is, let's say, is a NEP system, the cost is very much low, right, for us Nepalese,
Yeah,
except
yeah,
for
yeah,
so
yeah.
I think of IB, like Nepalese students really afford it. Like, is it feasible for every Nepalese student to afford it?
I don't know for sure, but they do give out a lot of scholarships to students who want to go to study UWC. And I would say that even though it may cost you a lot to do high school in UWC, but the reward after that, after you're done with UWC, you get a lot of scholarships to go to study abroad as well. So I would say even though it costs a lot of money, and even if you get scholarship, or if you don't, it I don't know, like if you do get scholarship, it's fine, but even if you don't, even if you get like 20%, I feel like that is still good enough. Because for me, I would say that because I'm a recent graduate of UWC, and I got quite a lot of scholarships to go to study to the US, so I would say it was definitely worth it after the 2 years. But during the 2 years, I would say it might be a bit difficult for us Nepalese, because as you mentioned, it's not, our education cost is not so high. I feel like it's almost as like the same as going to study to the US. But I would say after the fruit is sweeter than the process, I would say. Yeah. So it's definitely worth it.
So does your UWC cost cover all your living, staying, your food, your shelter, everything?
Yeah, it covers everything apart from your flight to and to and back to your home. Apart from that, accommodation, your laundry, food, your staying, everything is covered by the school itself.
Nepalese and the Italy system. So which do you prefer most?
Like in terms of academic, or
Not in terms of academic, like in terms of lifestyle, in terms of the the environment.
that's a bit of a hard question, because I like the environment of both and the food of both countries very much. But I would say, um in terms of climate, I prefer Nepal's climate because it's much cooler and much suitable for me. Because in Italy, it rains really bad in winter, and there's like the Bora wind. And rain plus wind is the worst combination anyone could ever ask for. And in summer, it's super, super hot. So for me, I feel like Nepalese climate is the best one. In terms of food, I would have to say I cannot choose between either Nepal or Italy, because they both have really good food.
Let's go to the scholarship question. Right? I want to ask you something about scholarships. So did you
Yeah, yeah.
apply for a scholarship, and do you happen to know the process of scholarship of the UWC?
I did apply for a scholarship, and I did not get one at the very beginning. And I'm not sure how they give out scholarships in UWC. I'm not aware of the process. I feel like you just apply, and the UWC decides whom to give scholarship and whom not to give scholarship. I think, I am not sure, but later I did get a 20% scholarship on the total fee, which is still a lot, but it was still a scholarship. So
How do you choose the country? I don't know much about UWC, na? So how do you choose your college, or university, your country from here? Like, do they hand out to you, or do you have some sort of options to choose from?
during the interview, I was asked my top three preferences for UWC colleges. And it's not necessary that you're going to get into one of the three of them, but they still do ask what is your preference. As for me, Adriatic was my third preference, which I'm pretty happy about it too, because I don't know. Like my first was Pearson, and my second was the Netherlands, and the third was Adriatic. So I feel like it's not necessary that you will get the college that you want to go to, because I really wanted to go to Pearson, because of, I don't know, the it was right on top, like near the lake and stuff. Also, Adriatic is really close to the sea, so I'm happy about it, because yeah, I love swimming and stuff. But I don't know. But they do ask which colleges you want to choose. I think though it also depends on the number of students the colleges from from each country. So like I think there is a limited number of seats for students to come from each country. for example, Adriatic only takes Nepalese students every once in 3 years. So I feel like they have the seating division. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you choose? Like you chose Pearson because of the lake and stuff. Did you look at the academic stuff and the other accommodate,
Hmm.
like the facilities that they provided while choosing your preferences for the college?
Yeah, that's the sure thing. You don't want to just choose the colleges based on how it looks and what facilities it has. I think the most important thing you have to look when you're searching for the college you want to go is if it has the right curriculum that you want to study or not. So I did look into the academics if there was a course that I wanted to do or not. And of course the accommodation and the facilities do come along with it, but I feel like choosing the curriculum you want is the most important thing. So that's how I decided which one I wanted to go to.
Okay, so after your UWC, like, what are your plans for where are you applying? What are you applying for?
So like after I'm done with UWC, right?
Yes.
The thing is, I would say if you are selected to go to UWC and after, I would say start looking up some universities you want to go to after you're done with the first year. Like when you finish your first year and come back home, rather than just hanging out with friends and just lurking around here and there, I would say do some research on the universities you want to go to because the third term, that is the first semester of the second year, is a really hectic one. There's going to be exams, there's going to be a lot of assignments you need to do, and on top of that, if you're going to have to look up some universities, write essays for those, I feel like that's going to be a really hectic period for you. So I would say for me, I did not do that. Like I did not do it, but I did finish my extended essay over my summer break, so that was a bit of a help for me. So I had some spare time to look at some universities. So from my experience, what I learned is because there are a lot of universities. Even if you say I want to go to study in the US, there are over 1,500 universities just in US. So I would say start researching them, start looking for the courses you want to do, start looking at the places, the safety, the facilities it has, so that it will be a bit more easier for you when it's actually time to apply.
Did you finish UWC or is there anything left, exams left of your 2-year course or something?
I completed everything. So the thing with our college for Adriatic is we did not give our final exams. So I graduated without giving exams. Also, our first year examinations were canceled because we had to come home. So during that period, we also had to prepare for our examinations in the summer break because we had to give our exams after we go back. So it was a bit of a mess here and there, but I graduated without giving an exam like the class of 2020. For at least for my college, we didn't have to give exams because in the last minute, like some students from our college, like second year students, got COVID and stuff, so we could not risk putting them and giving them examinations along with us. So they just decided to cancel the exam and go the non-exam route.
So you're currently in the process of applying for university or are you done with it?
I have already gotten into a university. I'm just waiting for the visa processing and stuff right now. To Earlham College in Indiana, Richmond.
Okay, so what are you pursuing in your bachelor's degree?
I think I will be majoring in global management with the minor in English, but I'm not so sure about it. But most probably it will be a major in global management with the minor in English.
I get all the questions. I know. So, and Maze, just a fun question for you. So, what what do you think, Unsani, you evolved as a person after you, and what are your expectations for you to evolve as a person in your university life?
I'm not sure. Like when some people say that, when people give examples of themselves saying, oh, I used to be this in the past and now I've grown like this, I've changed like this. But I think for me, if I do look back at myself and see myself and how I was in the past, I would say I don't know how I changed. Like, how can you tell? How can you know? But like from the UWC experience, I can say one thing for sure, that I am not so shy and reserved as I used to be. So I hope that after I do go to US, I would become even more open about like expressing my opinions and stuff like that, I guess.
Thank you so much for our session. Like, it was very much fruitful. Like, I learned a lot about you about it at all, So I hope our viewers will also have a lot of idea about UWC after this. UWC Adriatic, to be more specific. So thank you so much, Diprekshya, for your
Thank you for having me, I guess.